The ocean can get pretty scary sometimes, especially for me being a deep sea diver. I go in with a few other people and just have fun. Sometimes we run into dolphins, sometimes seals, and the occasional shark. They're not bad though. The media portrays sharks in quite the wrong way. They're pretty peaceful for the most part. Well, most of them. But sharks are not what this story's about. This is about something worse. Something far, far worse. Some other people and I went out for a dive. Nothing too interesting. Just a regular dive. Going down into a cave. I've been through it several times on solo dives, enough to where I know my way around. We just looked around for a while, going deeper and deeper into the cave, being sure to pressurize ourselves whenever we needed to. We spent a little while looking at some small schools of fish and some coral, but nothing incredible happened. Some of the more notable things we saw before the real shit hit the fan were a sea turtle and a nurse shark. We went down a bit more and came into an area I hadn't really checked out, but since it was a recreational dive, we decided to check it out anyway. It was a medium-sized area of the cave where there wasn't water. It was like if you swam up and just popped your head out of the water, just air. And very cool air at that. I took out a waterproof radio I keep with me during dives just in case, and turned it to the local news station. Sharks spotted next to the shore near the beachfront, possibly a great white. Stay out of the water and be safe out there, the lady said before looping the message. Well, fuck, I said after I'd looped a second time. What are we going to do now? One of my friends, Darren, said to me, I guess we'll just have to stay here. It shouldn't last for too long, probably only an hour or so. We can stay longer just to be safe. And that's what we did. So after a while, we ended up getting sick of this little prison, even though we could have left at any time. We put our gear back on and hopped back into the water. We swam up towards where we came in when we saw something. I looked closer at it, and it was something moving slowly from the other side of the hall we were in. I don't know if hall is the correct term or not, but that really isn't important. We were coming out of a cave. Joel, another one of my friends that went with us, screamed. As loud as you can scream underwater, though. The noise was muffled, but it sure as hell was audible. It was that fucking great white. It was right there. I felt like my heart stopped seeing it there. I've never come across one in person, not like that before. It didn't notice him or us, though. Its front side continuing to move forward across the exit of the hall. Now, what happened next didn't make anyone scream, not even a whimper. We just stayed silent, horribly silent. Coming out from the left side of the exit was the great white, but not the whole great white. Only about half of it. Something had fucking bitten the other half off. What in the hell can do that? So you better damn believe we made our way out of that area. The blood would probably draw in a few more sharks, and we didn't want to be around when that happened. Needless to say, we hauled ass out of there. We were coming out of the cave when we found the other half of the shark. It had been about 30 minutes since we saw the other half. Where were all the other sharks? There weren't any. Come to think of it, there weren't any other fish either. Where in the hell did the fish go? I knew something was wrong, horribly wrong. Fish never just disappeared like that. It's just not something they do. We came out of the entrance to the cave and started to head up when I felt something. Not really something physical, more like a sense, I guess, but I sure as hell felt it. Something was below us. And not something small, something big, something fucking huge. I looked down and saw a shadow. It wasn't moving, just stationary, completely still. It wasn't a shark. Sharks can't stay still because they'll drown. After a few seconds, everyone else looked down too and saw what I saw. We were in shock. What the fuck was it? It started heading for us. I could see the light reflecting off its eye. I still don't know what the eye belonged to. It was unnatural. Something I don't ever want to look into again. We headed back to that damn cave. What else could we have done? We made it in and turned around to see James swimming up towards the surface. We all screamed at him to come back, but it fell upon deaf ears. He kept going. Since nobody was doing anything, I started to make my way towards the exit. I got out and headed for James. I eventually reached him and grabbed his ankle, and he screamed. I pulled him down with me, and as I was doing so, I looked down to see nothing. And not like I can't see anything, just nothing there. James and I made it back to the cave safely and took a break for a second. About 3 minutes passed and we thought about just heading for the boat, but something stopped that idea from escalating any further. The back half of the shark was gone and the fish weren't coming back, so we just decided to stay put. We were about to head back to the little open area we found when I felt something in the water. Like if you move your hand next to your face underwater, you feel the motion. I looked toward where it came from and there it was. That fucking eye in the mouth of the cave. It took up about half of the 18-foot wide entrance. We hauled ass to the open area. About 30 minutes later, we heard something come up from the water. It was the shark's front half. How the fuck did that get over here? That thing must have wanted us to see it. It must have known we were scared and it was trying to heighten our fear. Hours passed and I was sure we were running out of oxygen in our tanks. We'd set them by the entrance to where we were. I turned around to see how full they were, but they were gone. They were just damn gone. Our equipment. We were fucked. We argued for a while, and Stefan eventually stopped our bickering though, mostly because he knew it wasn't going to get us anywhere, and he knew this thing was just fucking with our heads. So we cleared our minds as best we could and decided that we'd leave. We would just swim and hope for the best. You can trust me, I'm aware that isn't anywhere near to a solid plan, but we were nervous and out of our minds for the most part. And after all, we stood a better chance all going at once than us trying to go one at a time and dying one at a time over and over. We took a few extra minutes to prepare ourselves, physically and mentally. We did the hyperventilation trick and then we took the dive. As we swam towards where the exit was, we kept checking around us and behind us, but we didn't see anything. Eventually, we made it up to where we first saw the front half of the shark. We looked around before making our way out into the mouth of the cave, and we were running out of air, and fast. We needed to get out of here. We swam into the abyss. Looking up, you could see the surface, so we took off. We were almost there when that fucking feeling came back. That feeling where you know something's there, but you just can't see it. It's burning at the back of my head. I look to my left to see James, to my right, Stefan, and in front of me, Darren. I turned to look at James, my eyes burning from the salt. I was feeling my consciousness start to slip away. Then I saw James disappear. Falling fast into the deep darkness of the unknown, he went. I couldn't do anything to stop it. I just kept swimming to the surface until it got closer and closer. I was almost fucking there. I thought I was going to die out there, but I made it. My head popped out of the ocean and I sucked in the biggest gulp of anything I'd ever taken and relished every goddamn second of breath I was able to experience. For a while, I just sat there stunned. James was fucking gone. Then Stefan and Darren popped up too. And we were all scared shitless. We took a second to regain control of ourselves and swam to the boat after we partially recovered. Stefan and Darren got up the ladder first, and as I was getting up, I felt something grab my ankle and I was yanked underwater by the thing that took James. It let me go. I climbed back up. It pulled me back down and thrashed me around. I climbed up yet again only to be pulled back under, this time deeper. I fought back and I tried to hit it, but I was released before it let me come into contact with itself. I swam to the top and climbed up the ladder. Stefan and Darren grabbed my arms and lifted me onto the boat. I sat there coughing for a while before looking back down. What I saw will haunt me for the rest of my life. I was able to see how truly huge this thing was. It was almost double the size of our boat. But what I saw after that was nothing short of nightmarish. I saw James. The thing had his body with it. It was showing it off. My friend since middle school. It was waving his body around the water like a fucking child brags to his friends by waving his new toy in the air. This goddamn thing was taunting us. After a while of sitting on the deck of the boat, I actually looked at myself. My leg from below the knee was gone. There wasn't any blood though. It was cauterized. That's what scared me the most about it. I'm doing okay now though. I have a prosthetic. Still doing physical therapy too. It's a small price to pay to be able to walk again. We never figured out how our tanks disappeared like that. They were just gone. If you ask me to explain it, I won't be able to. I just know that 1 second they were there and the next they were gone. The Coast Guard found James's body floating out there in the ocean after they searched the cave for evidence. It was bloated and he had something on his back. From the pictures I got my cousin to get access to since he's a cop, they look like eggs. I don't know what they really are. But if they are eggs, what the fuck is going to hatch out of them?